Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm bringing you another live gameplay video from our booster box tournament. This is actually just a fun match that we played in between rounds. I am on the right playing my smoker deck that I did a deck profile on. It is the starter deck GARP version though, so -3 Meteor Volcano, +1 Great Eruption, and +2 starter deck GARP, and that is my exact list from that video. I will link that in the description below so you guys can check out that deck profile. So Michael goes second here, which is perfect for him because Sanji's ability, once per turn when you play a character with no base effect from your hand, if you have 3 or less characters set up to 2 of your Dawn cards is active, so he plays 1 2-cost vanilla, restands 2 Dawn, and plays a second 2-cost vanilla. I still have no good plays here on my second turn, so I just load up my Dawn and swing at his lead, and he does take that damage. So going into his second turn now, he starts off with 4 Dawn, and we'll see what he's able to do here. So yeah, using all 4 of his Dawn, plays down a 4-cost 6k vanilla in Gecko Moria, and with Sanji's ability, he's able to restand 2 Dawn. So what he's going to be able to do here now is attach each of those Dawn to his 4ks and swing. So he swings first with a Jinbei, and I do take that damage. Then he swings another 5k with the wire, and I counter out with a Suru, and then he does attack with lead for another 5, and I do take that damage as well. So on turn 2 he takes 2 life, so that's what Sanji can do. It's a really strong start, just swarming the board and unleashing a barrage of attacks. And I just swing 5 into one of his 2-cost vanillas, and he counters out with 2 1ks. So I am not off to a good start here, but I do play that 5-cost starter deck GARP, which activate main once per turn. You may rest this card and trash a card from your hand, and then you get to get rid of a 4-cost in play. So I'm going to choose to get rid of that active Gecko Moria because it's a pretty big threat there with 6,000 power, and I pass turn. So Sanji has kind of gotten the label as a fun deck. I know a lot of people love to play it, but it doesn't see the most competitive play. It is a scary deck though. If you get started like Michael does here and you put down so many characters, then your opponent has to deal with those characters and it keeps them away from your life, which is really important being a 4-life leader. He does play that 5-cost 7k vanilla crocodile, and he's once again able to restand 2 Dawn with Sanji's leader ability. So now he has 3 Dawn to work with, and he swings 6k to my GARP, and I do counter out 1k with the Borsalino. So he has 2 options here. He could either swing another 6k into the GARP, or he can swing 2 5k attacks into my leader. And I think he does the right thing here by going with the 2 5k attacks because you want to just stay aggressive. But I do take another damage here, and on the second attack I do counter out with the Suru, and Michael passes turn. So I'm not in the greatest spot here. I am down a life and I only have 1 character on board, and he has a pretty good board established, so we'll see what I do to deal with that. I do start off by attaching a Dawn to my leader and giving that crocodile -1 to its cost, so now it is a 4-cost, and I am going to get rid of it with my GARP, trashing a Great Eruption and getting rid of that. And now my smoker is a 6k, and I'm going to swing into his wire there, swing 2 over, and he does decide to trash it. Things are looking better for me now that I'm able to get rid of 2 characters on his board, and I do have quite a bit of Dawn to work with. So I'm deciding how I want to play this out. Yeah, I do go for the safe play here and just play down a Borsalino and then pass turn. I'm in a much better position now after that slow start. I was able to clear some of his board and put down the Borsalino blocker to give myself a little bit of defense. He's up to 8 Dawn now, and he does decide to attach 2 Dawn to his Jinbei, making him a 6k. So we'll see if he decides to go into life or if he decides to go into my GARP. he decides to go after my Garp here, and don't blame him, it is putting in a lot of work getting rid of his board. And because of that, I do counter out with a 2k counter Garp. And then for 6 Dawn, he does play the 6 cost, 8000 power vanilla Dracula Mihawk. And once again, he's able to stand 2 Dawn with leader ability. And he attaches both Dawn to his leader and swings 7k to lead. And I do take that damage. So he's maintaining his aggression here. While he is taking shots at my Garp, he is still attacking into my leader, and he has a 3-to-1 life advantage. So I do believe that he's playing this very well right now. And for 4 Dawn, I play my 4-cost Guzan, which on play allows me to draw a card. And then for 3 Dawn, I play down the Kobe. So with Kobe, I'm able to trash a card from my hand in order to get rid of a 3-cost or less in play. So I do trash my 5-cost Smoker. He's not really doing me too much in this matchup. And I get rid of his Jinbei. And I do attack his leader with my Garp for 6k, and he does take the damage. And then I swing with my leader for 5k. And he counters out with the 1k counter Virgo. So I probably should have done that backwards, but that's okay. I was able to take a life, and I do have a pretty strong board established here, so starting to make my comeback. And I do leave 2 Dawn up to threaten the impact wave. But I do only have 3 cards in my hand. He starts off by swinging 5k with lead. And I actually just take the free block with the Borsellino since he is a 6k on my opponent's turn. And he swings 8k into my Garp with the Mihawk. And I do protect it with the impact wave. He doesn't have any active 3 costs, so it's just used as a 4k counter there. And for 9 Dawn, he does play the 9 cost Mihawk. And he's finally able to get rid of that Garp by bottom decking it. So the 9 cost Mihawk on play gets to bottom deck a 7 cost or less. So if I didn't defend my Garp there, then he would have been able to get rid of 2 of my characters. So I start this turn off by swinging 5k with my 4 cost Kuzan to his leader, and then I give -4 cost to the 9 cost Mihawk, so now it is down to a 5 cost, and he counters out that attack with a 1k counter Mihawk. And for 10 Dawn, I do play the 10 drop Kuzan, so that's a really powerful card, and I'm able to get rid of his 9 cost Mihawk before he's able to attack with it. So on play, the Kuzan gets rid of a 0 cost in play, but what takes into effect first is his other ability, which is to give all of my opponent's characters -5 to their cost during my turn. So couple that with the 4 cost Kuzan giving -4 to that 9 cost Mihawk, and I'm just able to remove it from the board. And I do swing 5k with lead, and he counters out with the Usopp. So on his turn, he starts off by swinging 10k to lead with his Mihawk there. And I do go down to 0 life, taking this damage. And I do trigger the Great Eruption, which forces my opponent to trash a card from his hand. So noticing that he has a low hand size right now, that could be pretty huge for me. And he does get rid of the 7 cost Crocodile, which is pretty good for me because that is a super rare with a 1k counter, so getting counters out of his hand at this stage in the game could go a long way. And he does swing 10k with lead, and I am forced to block it with the Borsellino. And then he passes turn. So I'm definitely going for game here. He has 2 life left, so I need 3 of these 4 swings to go through, but it is possible because he does only have 1 card in hand. He does have 3 Dawn up to use, so we'll see how that goes. I start the turn off by swinging just 5k with the Kobe. And he does take this damage. So with that swing going through, that's pretty good for me. And it looks like he did get some kind of a trigger here, but he decides to put it to hand. And I go big here with the 4-cost Kuzan, making him a 9k. And I do give that Mihawk minus cost. And he does use the Death Wink, which is a 3-cost counter event that gives his leader plus 6,000 power, so he's able to stop that attack. And because he has a low hand size, he also was able to draw a card. I attach it onto Smoker and use his leader ability, and I am just going to load up on my leader here, and thanks to leader ability I get an extra 1k boost. And he does take that damage, and then I am able to close out the game by swinging 11k with my 10-drop Kuzan. So I am able to take the win here, coming back from a strong start from Michael and his Sanji deck. And I do think that this was an exciting match. It was such a good showcase for Sanji, being able to play down so many characters onto the board thanks to leader ability, and just remaining aggressive with a constant barrage of attacks. And also, obviously, a good showcase for Smoker, being able to come back thanks to all the removal in the deck, just giving me some momentum to come back in this game, you know, and being able to establish a board while denying him as much board as possible throughout the game as well. I definitely think that the key moment of the match was when I was just able to get Garp into play, because turn after turn it just seemed like he was taking out all the threats that Michael was putting into play. But yeah, this was, like I said, a really exciting match. It's always nice to see both decks executing their strategies, and you know, that game could have gone either way in the end. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you did, and consider subscribing for more One Piece card game content, and I'll see you all in the next video.